So today's video is sponsored by Camel City Mill. We need to do some figuring here. All right, I just measured everything up. Now we need to do a little math. So the trailer is 31 high, that's with the sideboards, 81 wide, 12 feet long, which is 144 cubic inches. Divide that by 1,728, that's how many cubic inches are in a cubic foot. 209 cubic feet, 209.25. Now this trailer comfortably holds 1 quart of firewood. Now when I say it comfortably holds a quart of wood, that's usually pretty much level with the top of the sideboards, maybe humped up just a little bit in the center, taper it down to the tailgate. That is 1 quart of firewood. And like I said, this is 209 cubic feet. Now, if you were to stack it in here, you'd fit a whole bunch more, but just tossing it in or dumped in, it's a quart of wood. And we know that because when I bought this trailer 5 or 6 years ago, I don't even know when it was, we had a couple different times we did a test. We had a measured quart of firewood and we just tossed it in. So with that being said, I'm comfortable knowing that this holds a quart of firewood and that you need around 209 cubic feet to hold a quart of firewood if it's just tossed in, dumped in, or thrown in, not stacked. So now we got to go check something else. All right, so this one here is an F450 with the gasser, the 7.3, steel dump body with aluminum gate. It's a nice truck, XL, 4-wheel drive. 79,989. This is a 2025. Now this is the same body. This is an F600 though, with the diesel. The price on this was $89, but I saw this online and they knocked like $4,000 off of this because it's a 2024. But with the diesel, this would be a far better deal than that gasser, being the 600 and really only like $5,000 more. All right, those are 9-foot dump beds, so that's 108 inches with sideboards, have 42-inch sides, and it's 90 inches wide on the inside, divided by 1,728, 236 cubic feet. So that is what I said the dump trailer was, 209, 27 cubic feet more approximately than the dump trailer. So with that being said, you could comfortably haul a full quart of firewood in that truck right there. Now there are different bodies out there. You can get bodies that could easily handle 2 quarts of firewood on like an F450 or an F600 550, but I'm not going to be hauling just firewood. You know, I want something to haul dirt, rock, topsoil, mulch, firewood, all those sorts of things. So I need kind of a general purpose dump bed, but that would definitely do it. But I just go round and round on this stuff. That F600, there's a sold sign on it. That was $5,000 more than an F450, and the 600 has the diesel. And I went back and forth on that too. Do I get a gasser? Do I get a diesel? I think for resale value alone, I would probably lean towards the diesel. And these things are ridiculously expensive, but I don't necessarily look at the price of the vehicle. I mean, I do. It's a big number. I try to figure out what it's going to cost me every time I pull out of the driveway with that truck. You know, so if I'm going to keep one of these for 10 years, let's say, you know, I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing for at least 10 more years. And if not, Levi will be making deliveries. He's doing that now. So either him or myself will be running this truck whatever we decide to get. And it's a big decision. It's almost like a overhead, because I can't see how you're going to make money with a truck like this. Meaning, going out and hauling for other people and things like that. I just don't, that's not even an option for us. Maybe it's possible. So I look at it as what it's going to cost me every time I pull out of the driveway. And do I even need one or not? At times I think I'm just trying to convince myself that I do, for no other reason than convenience. I mean, a dump truck is a little bit more convenient. It's a lot more convenient than a dump trailer. But like my dump trailer, I paid, I think, $7,500 for it 5 years ago. I could probably sell it for close to that amount today, because a new one is over $11,000 now, maybe even 12. I'm not even sure, but it's a lot more. So it's a lot of different things to think about. But let's go back to the house. We'll put some numbers to all this and try to make an educated decision. I don't know. They're a money pit. They are. All right, pulling back into the house here. Oh, I didn't mention this. I just want to be clear. I don't need a new dump truck. A good used one would do everything that I needed. But here's the problem that I'm facing, and maybe I'm overthinking this. Anything that's, say, 1 year old to 5 years old, they want almost as much as new. Say 5 to 15 years old, it's still a newer truck. They're all out of warranty and they're very expensive to fix. And I can't do it. Like the Ford Highboy that I have, I can actually work on that truck. All the newer stuff, you got to take it to the dealer or a good mechanic somewhere that deals with that kind of stuff. So anything from a year old to 15 years old is kind of out of the question. Once you get beyond that, if you could find a good one, I'd be willing to pay a considerable amount of money for it. Like I found one, and someone sent it to me as well. What was it? It was a 7.3 Power Stroke F550. Looked very well kept. 100,000 miles on it. That's a great engine. That's a 400,000 plus mile engine in that truck. And they wanted 25 grand for it. And can you believe that? I thought $25,000 for a 25-year-old truck was a pretty good deal, which doesn't sound that bad when you realize what you're getting. But I called that guy, and a couple times he never called me back. So I don't know if he sold it or what he was doing. But most of the trucks, when you get pretty old around here in the Northeast, they're rust buckets. You got to start worrying about rust, repairs, things like that. So I don't know. If I could find a good old used one, I would be all for it. It would have to be the right truck. But anything from like a year old to 15 years old, they're really hard to come by. That would be a decent deal in my opinion. And for all of you out there, they're going to say I should fix up Blueford. I'm just going to say you're out of your mind. I mean, that may sound a little bit harsh, but I get that comment quite often. You just don't know the whole story. That truck is 51 years old. It does have a Cat 3208 engine in it, but I mean, it is rough, really rough shape. I mean, there's a lot wrong with that truck. And even if you had somebody, that's the thing. Everybody always says, just take it to someone and have them do this. I don't know if those people exist where you are at, but they don't exist around here. In other words, we have good mechanics. There's some around. I know who they are. But there's nobody out there sitting around waiting for you to bring a 50-year-old truck in and say, hey, I want to put, $30,000 in this and make it look new. No one has the time to devote a couple months into something like that. At least nobody that I know of. And the other problem with Blueford is, man, you pulled that thing out on the road, the DOT would be eating that up. I would be pulled over by the popo nonstop, When you're out in the road in a truck, try to do your best to look like everything's in order and fly under the radar, because they are just looking to generate revenue. That's what they do. So, yeah, I don't know the answer. I'm leaning towards new, but if I found the right old truck, I would definitely jump on that. But right now, I'm going to go in, we're going to start a spreadsheet and figure out how much a new one would cost me every time I pull out of the driveway. That's what I want to know. That's the number that I need to know. The dump trailer, like I said, that's a very economical way to move things, and it has worked perfectly for what I've been doing since I bought it. But you still need a truck to pull the dump trailer. So even though the dump trailer is inexpensive to maintain, it holds its value, you still need a truck to pull it with. And it's been a great fit for me because, I got this Super Duty. I can hook up to the dump trailer, deliver some firewood, go to the stone yard, then I can unhook it and take the truck to the cabin, go on vacation or whatever, But so far this year, I think we've delivered 20, I just looked this morning, 26 or 27 loads, dump trailer loads of firewood in the spring. I already have for September, I've been telling people right now, answering emails and messages, I'm going to start delivering like the second week of September through October. We'll probably deliver another 40 more loads, dump trailer loads. And then all the other bulk firewood that we sell is people that come here, pick up baskets, all the baskets I take to the neighbors and things like that. So that right there, that's 70 loads of just firewood that we'll do this year with the dump trailer, plus all the trips to the stone yard, going to get logs from people. I use that trailer a lot. And that's not even advertising. I mean, we do have people that are local that watch our channel, but I don't make Facebook or Craigslist ads or anything like that for firewood. It's all just word of mouth. And with the new firewood processor, we could definitely ramp things up quite a bit. If I had to guess, I would say next year we could easily sell 125 cords of bulk firewood. Easy. All right, let's take a look at some numbers here. I'm going to start right here. I've got two columns, new and used. Let's say a new one is $85,000. Plan on keeping it for 10 years of service. Value at trade-in or sale. Now, that's a tough one, right? I don't know this number. I mean, who knows what it's going to be like in 10 years, but just with inflation and looking over the last 10 years, I think if you have a truck with under 100,000 miles on it, 10 years from now, I think it's going to be worth at least $45,000. Let's say $47,500. Like I said, this is just an estimate, but you got to start somewhere. Miles per year. Let's go with 7,500. Most of all our deliveries are relatively local. Insurance per year, I'm going to say 700. No, 600. And the reason is we've got a bunch of vehicles on our insurance anyway, and we're not adding any more drivers, so I'm just going to put 600 in there for that. Registration for like an F550 or a 600 here in Taxylvania, another 600 Benjamins. Fuel per year. So this calculates what I did here. 7,500 miles at $4.25 a gallon. Current fuel prices, not what it will be in 10 years. $1,875. So let's say I make 150. I use that truck 150 times a year. Now that's not 150 days. That's saying 150 times I use that truck. So, I may make 4 deliveries in one day and go pick up a load of stone. That would be 5 trips. 150. As we sell more wood, that number may grow, but you got to start somewhere. So these are the numbers that it came up with. Ownership costs, $37,500. All that's doing is taking your price minus what you sell it for. Fuel costs, $18,750. Insurance, $6,000. This is over the 10-year span. We didn't put maintenance in here. For a new truck like that, like my Super Duty right now, I replaced a couple light bulbs and oil changes. That's all I've had to do with it. Let's say $500 a year, okay? So back down here, yada, yada, you got your registration, maintenance. Total cost to have that truck on the road for 10 years is going to be $73,250. Cost per delivery or pickup, $48.83. Okay? Every time you pull out of the driveway, $48. Now, let's look at a used truck. Like that one that I found that the guy never called me back. $25,000. That's going to be a stretch, but we're going to go with 10 years of service on it as well. It's got the 7.3 Power Stroke. What will this be worth after 10 more years? It's going to have $175,000 on it compared to $100,000. I'm going to deal with rust issues for sure, no matter what you do. So let's say it's worth 10 grand after I keep it for 10 years. That may be a stretch. It may be low. I don't know. Average miles per year will do the same, 7,500. Insurance per year, let's say 400. Registration per year, another 600 for Taxylvania. Fuel per year, this was based on 17 miles per gallon. We'll just leave that one alone. Deliveries per year, 150. Maintenance per year on a 25-year-old truck. What do we put in here? You let me know in the comments, and I'll change it later. But I'm going to say $2,000 a year. Yeah, something like that, $2,000. So here we have ownership cost is $15,000, fuel $18,750, insurance $4,000, registration $6,000, maintenance $20,000. So over 10 years, you would have $20,000 to put into that truck. End of the day, total cost $63,750, cost per delivery or pickup $42.50. It's actually, yeah, that's not bad. It's like $6 less than a brand new truck. That seems kind of expensive. Maybe my maintenance costs. Let's just say, let's change this to $1,000 a year. What do we got? $35.83. Not really a huge difference. Huh. Lot to think about. Yeah, there's a lot to consider when you're trying to decide between buying used and buying new. Kind of a tough decision. But you know what's an easy decision? Whether or not to buy Camel City Mill socks. That's a no-brainer. They wick sweat. They keep your feet warm in the wintertime, cool in the summertime. They're a fantastic product. And like I always say, if you don't believe me, read through some of the comments from people that have bought these. Everybody loves Camel City Mill socks. I put my boots on each day, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're usually on my feet till about 9 o'clock each night. These help keep my feet comfortable all day long. They're fantastic. The bonus is 100% American made right down in North Carolina, and they have a 10-year durability guarantee on socks. Made from merino wool. They hold up really well. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Your feet don't stink. They stay up. You can't beat them. But anyway, save 10% on my favorite work socks from Camel City Mill with code Morgans10. Link in the description. All right, now we're going to head out to the new building site here. It's been a scorcher today. Really, really hot. It's dry, but tomorrow they are calling for rain. I think about 80% chance. It's been about 2 weeks since we've had any rain. There's deer out there again. I just saw them out past the skid loader. But it's been about 2 weeks since we had any rain, and tomorrow's supposed to be 80 degrees and rain. And if that's the case, we'll be able to light this pile up out here. We got a big pile right there and a lot more to add to it. We're not going to get too carried away this evening, but take a few more down that I'm sure have to come down. Clean up this brush pile a little bit over here, and we'll go from there. right, I got 2 down so far this evening. This one here was pretty easy. That one there is a big mess. Now the next one, I wish I could keep that tree. I do, but it's just going to be in the way. That's a nice healthy one, nice and straight. But I've been paying attention when I'm out here, and this is going to work out really good. The sun is over there. So it's late in the afternoon, early evening right now, and the sun goes across that way, down like that. So this whole area here, you can see out there in the field where the sun's hitting, this will remain shaded like late afternoon, early evening. Now in the morning, the sun will be hitting in here, and that's not too bad. I'd rather have it that way than the opposite of that. It should stay pretty well shaded. And I was thinking, I probably wouldn't be thinking as much about shade if I was clearing this in the middle of winter, but this is a good day to think about it. It was in the 90s today, and that'll be important. On the building, on that side, we'll have some solar panels just to power the jackery. We'll have some lights in here, and it'll get plenty of sunlight for at least 5 or 6 hours a day. 5 hours a day, I think it'll get direct sunlight. That should be enough for as little as we'll need the lights. I mean, I'm not planning on being out here 10 o'clock at night, you know, cutting and splitting wood or anything like that. But it'll be nice to have lights out here. All right, we're gonna take this big one down. Let's see, it is 6 o'clock right now. I'm not gonna hurry, but we'll get an idea how long this will take. First thing I want to do, I like to level up a little spot here, just so the machine's sitting the way that I want. Then we'll start just kind of getting to know the tree a little bit, you know? These maples, they always have just a giant root ball of small roots, where like the cherries will have like 3 main ones, and you bust them out, they go right over. But these maples, they can be it's like they're just attached to a big concrete footer, a big round footer. I just clean off around the top a little bit first, and we'll start finding the bigger roots right away with these ones. But back to what I was talking about on that truck, or trucks, they're just like a necessary evil, you know? And my dump trailer's been fantastic, but a dump truck would be a real time saver. It really would. It probably takes me on average an hour and a half to make a delivery with the dump trailer, even if it's 5 miles away. And by the time you hook up to the dump trailer, you get it loaded, it just takes time. Then when you're done with it, unloading it, especially now because our wood yard down below is so tight, you know, a lot of times you got to move the trailer into place with the mini skid. Out here it'll be a different story, but still, say you make 150 deliveries a year, and you can do it in an hour instead of an hour and a half. That's 75 hours saved. It's all about the time, because we all only have so much of it. If you're wondering why I'm doing all this, like a new wood yard, a firewood processor, and now, you know, talking about getting a dump truck, if you're wondering why, it's actually a good question, because I am 58 years old. I act like I'm 12, but there's a couple different reasons. Number one, I like doing it. I do. I could, I don't know. You never know how much health insurance is going to go up. But at this point in my life, I could kind of coast to the finish line if I needed to. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely coast to the finish line at this point. I think I could. You don't know how much things are. You know, when you plan for retirement, who really knows how much money you're going to need? But I feel as though I could coast to the finish line. All right? But the main reason I like to do this, or I'm doing this, is, like I said, I enjoy it, but we are building something here for our kids and our grandkids. And it's not like we're planning on leaving them a Fortune 500 company, but we're leaving them options. And for now, even now, it's so nice. You know, Levi works for us. We get to see Ty and Thea all the time. Hannah, she works a couple hours a day in the morning. She comes over. She's the one that does like all our Facebook and Instagram posts and helps me with a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And we all pitch in to help with Hunter. And it's just nice having everybody around like that. And like I said, having options. You can go different directions, adapt to changes and things like that. When we first got married, it was not like that at all. I was, I don't know how Melissa did it. Like when Hunter was little, I was on the road a lot, working construction. You know, I was a blaster. There's only so much blasting in your area, so that meant that you were on the road a lot. I worked from, I think the farthest I worked south was Tennessee. I worked, well, yeah, Tennessee. I worked in Kentucky on the Kentucky Speedway, right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. But then I worked all the way up to New Hampshire and everywhere in between. A lot down in West Virginia, a lot in central PA, but I wasn't home, you know? There were times where I would work 6 days a week and get home 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, and, you know, have time to cut the grass on Sunday, get all your clothes washed, and leave again 3 in the morning on Monday or something. I did that crap for years, and it was a good job. It was, and I enjoyed the job and the people that I worked with most of the time. Not all of the time, most of the time. But you're just away from your family all the time, and I had to leave everything here up to Melissa, and having a son with special needs, that was tough. It is very tough. But we got through that, and then here we are. And I just want to make more opportunities for us and our kids, and just kind of feel like you're building something. If you can see, I'm not real deep around this stump, maybe a foot and a half. That should be all that it takes. I'm just going to try 3 sides on this one. I'm not going to get the far side. That's the way I'm going to push this one. I'll take a little bit more here, and then I'll give it a little nudge. Sometimes it surprises you. Like right now, I think I need to do more digging. But like I said, sometimes it'll surprise you. You can just get it moving. It's kind of like breaking that seal on the bottom, you know? You do that, you know you're getting close. But this one's a tall tree. Pretty big around too. But I'd rather take down 4 of these than one of those ones like I just did. With all those different shoots coming off of it. Yeah, there's some decent sized roots right there. All right, what do you say? I don't know. There's nothing moving at all yet, but we're gonna give a little nudge here, see what it does, if anything. Oh, this one surprised me. I should have got out there and moved that camera. Boom. That was delightful. That was. I'm liking what I'm seeing here too, by the way. I'll show you. Look at that. The dust still hasn't settled from this one. It's a nice tree right here. I don't saw much maple on the sawmill, but I think I'll saw the butt log out of this one at least. Probably 18 inches. It's a nice tree. But here's what I was talking about. See that stump hole right there? We don't have a whole lot of topsoil on top of the hills like this. It's all down in the valleys, but we have some decent topsoil. But you can tell a lot from the root ball. There's a little bit of clay right underneath the topsoil, not much at all. And then you start getting into that shale right there. That's what I'm after. When I dig like the pit for the cistern tank, I'll have a bunch of shale that comes out of there. I'll strip all the topsoil off where the building goes, where the road comes in, and I can coat all that with some shale, and it will really save me on stone. We have good dirt here. We do. A lot of people say, aren't there any rocks in Pennsylvania? There are rocks everywhere in Pennsylvania, just not here. Probably 50% of the state. Oh, and by the way, I just checked. It's 6:13 right now. We started on that tree at 6. I've probably been done. It took less than 10 minutes. But anyway, back to the rocks. That's a guess, 50%. But like I know just a few miles from here, probably 5 or 6 miles from here, where Melissa's uncle lives, that's where back in the day, a long, long time ago, the glacier ended, and all that rock that it brought with it is just deposited everywhere down there. I mean, you can't do anything with hitting, without hitting big goonies everywhere. There's rock everywhere. And up in the mountains, central Pennsylvania, there's a lot of rock in the state, just not here. And I like that. So I think for the actual building, this big gnarly one right here, that's got to come down. And then 2 of those 3, the last one out there, I think I can leave, but these other 2 I'll take down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more trees. I'm still debating on renting a bigger excavator, but as I'm debating it, I'm getting more of them down on the ground with my machine, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. Because I'm going to have several down in here that comes out as well. We'll just have to see. But we are definitely in the egg breaking stage of making an omelet. Things are looking like a mess here now, but we're making progress. But before I wrap this video up, I want to mention a couple things. Number 1, if you are a subscriber to our channel, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you're not, and you enjoy this type of content, basically all over the place, please consider subscribing. Appreciate you being here, and I will catch you on the next one.